There we go.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. Two. One. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
All right, everybody, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black. You tuned in to Tim Black with your man Tim Black at night. All right. We have a very, very volatile subject to conquer tonight. We got to take a look at it from all sides. We have to deal with it for what it is. Yes, I'm talking about the non-indictment of the officers who shot down Tamir Rice in Cleveland, Ohio. I want to welcome you all to the show tonight. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being aware enough, caring enough to tune into a show about a subject of this nature, because we all know there's other things you could be watching right now. I'm sure there's a reality show on somewhere. Somebody's got a DVR of something they could watch. But no, we care about what's going on in our world, and we're willing to talk about it. And I think that's the least we could do, considering what's been happening lately in America and the fact that this young man lost his life. So the least we could do is talk about it, see if we can come up with suggestions. And some of us just need to vent a little and just realize that we're not alone in what we think, what we believe. And maybe a few of us will be able to push the boundaries and come away with some different understandings. Because not all people feel the same, right? We're different people from different walks of life. So, as you all know, last year, late November 2014, Tamir Rice was at a playground at a recreational center outside, and someone phoned in that a person was playing with a gun or pointing a gun. They said they thought that person was a juvenile, and they thought the gun was not real. We know what happened shortly after that. Officers were dispatched. Those officers, upon arriving, they rolled up on Tamir Rice. Within 2 seconds, they shot him, and we know the results. So, fast forward. We got the ruling today that Ohio, the grand jury decided not to indict anyone. No criminal charges will be laid against the officers for the death of Tamir Rice. The jury did not find any evidence or enough evidence to bring charges of any kind regarding criminality. So that's where we are, guys. That's where we are. That's what we're doing now. Now, what I will do is I've set the table. We know the topic, brought you up to speed. I do want to put out a couple facts that some people may not know. And what I typically do, guys, if you're new to this show, I typically sort of set the table with my opinion. And it kind of inspires people because, it's more than just what they give you on the news show. Okay? So anyway, here we go. First of all, Timothy Loman, the officer that actually shot Tamir Rice, was a rookie cop. A rookie cop who had been found unable to cut it as a cop to begin with. So I have a lot of issues why Timothy Loman was even on this call. There was a lot of systematic breakdowns, including Timothy Loman being there, but also the dispatcher not relaying to the officers that they thought the person with the gun was a juvenile and that the gun was suspected to not be real. That was important information. If you're new to watching my show, you may not know that I did a show recently where I talked about what happens when you call police. And I got a lot of pushback from certain people about saying you shouldn't call the police unless you really have to call the police because you don't want blood on your hands because you don't know what it's going to be, especially when it pertains to family. Well, in this case, I really wish they wouldn't have called police, because maybe then Tamir Rice would still be alive. I mean, for God's sake, he wasn't even shooting the pellet gun. He was merely pointing it. And now he's dead. But once again, sometimes when you tell dispatchers what's going on, the dispatchers don't always relay all that information. So there's a couple things structurally wrong with this. I also find it hard to swallow that Timothy Loman was in training at the time when this call came in. Why do you send an officer that's in training over to deal with a situation and then take the lead and jump out the car? Notice the veteran officer did not shoot. Just things I think. I don't know what you think. That's what I think. What else is fishy? Oh, it's fishy how the officer said in their report that they told Tamir Rice 4 times. I thought it was 3. No, 4 times in 2 seconds to show his hands. Now, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, I guess, the sharpest knife in the drawer. But I think it takes a lot more than 2 seconds to tell somebody 4 times to show their hands. 1 1,000, 2 1,000. I don't think I got enough time there to say more than a couple things. And considering the fact his window was up, he wasn't talking while his window was up. So these are all things from the layman's perspective that I saw that just jump out at me like they don't make sense, like they don't have the ring of truth. Another problem I have with this case is the prosecutor seems like he was more interested in not trying the case than trying the case. And I'm sure there are many, many people behind bars right now for a little bit of weed who wish they had a prosecutor who was so energetic about not trying a case. They wish they had Mr. McGinty as their prosecutor. But see, you wouldn't be that lucky to have a Mr. McGinty trying your case when you run a traffic signal or when you have a altercation or a situation. No, that's when you get the overzealous prosecutor. It's just ironic that when it's a cop case, all of a sudden, the prosecutor doesn't really want to try the case. And he goes out of his way, ladies and gentlemen, to bring in experts to refute the idea of pressing charges. He did not build a case against the officers. He built a case for not charging the officers, which is counter to what prosecutors typically do, because I don't know if you noticed it now, but prosecutors are in the business of trying cases. So he basically went before the jury and said, hey, I don't think you should try this case. I don't think you should indict this officer, either of these officers, but hey, here goes some people I'm going to put up here who agree with me, and then you make your decision. Don't let the fact I don't think it's a good case or a case that you should find charges. Don't let the fact that I don't think that, though I'm very experienced and I know what I'm talking about, and you are just a jury, but don't let me having lots of experience, 30 years, 40 years experience, sway your judgment at all, even though here goes a couple experts who agree with me when they'll talk to you independently. And then people are shocked when the jury goes, yeah, I kind of agree with the prosecutor. That's what happened here. Of course, I'm getting pushed back once again. People say, oh, Tim, that's not right. That's not right, Tim. The jury made its own decision. When you sway the jury, and once again, you know what? Even if the prosecutor believes that the case stinks, you don't take the case and then half-ass try the case. You don't bring the case. Or you recuse yourself from the case. I mean, they can't pass it on, right? I mean, he's not the only prosecutor in Ohio, is he? Why is he trying a case he don't have faith in trying? All good questions. Frank Jackson, the mayor of Cleveland, said that Cleveland is very upset. Cleveland, the city, is very upset. And they're all doing a moment of soul searching. And as I said in the video I released earlier today, they need to do more than soul search. They need to go search and find the soul and have it implanted into their bodies. Because what happened to Tamir Rice should not happen. I believe it was racially motivated. I believe it's a problem we have in our society. And until we address the racial component that would make a 25-year-old man think a 12-year-old black boy is a 20-year-old black man, we're going to have problems. We're going to continue to have problems until we look at these things. Because that's part of what happened here. He wrote in his report, he thought Tamir Rice was, he radioed, he didn't write this in the report, he radioed to dispatch, I just shot a man, he looks to be about 20 or so. This kid hadn't even reached puberty yet. And then part of the argument that the mayor gave, well, not the mayor, but the prosecutor gave for not indicting was that Tamir looked so old. He was 5'7", 170 pounds. He wasn't old looking, he was fat. There's a lot of fat kids in America. They don't look 20 just because they're overweight. Blame it on the Popeyes. Blame it on the Wendy's. Blame it on the McDonald's. Don't blame it on the kids. I have a problem with that. And I could just keep going, guys, but I won't because I want to bring my people in and let them add to this. I do want to say before I do that, though, before I go to my first call, I am tired of our prostitutes. Our prostitutes, you know, those people who are in the press. I mean, well, they're not prostitutes. I call them prostitutes. See, I have more respect for prostitutes because prostitutes do a job. They do the job well. They get paid. Prostitutes don't do the job. Or they do the job. No, I don't know. I guess they do the job. But it's not the job for us. It's the job for themselves and for their handlers. So maybe they aren't prostitutes or prostitutes, but they are shitty journalists. The ones that are in the bag, out the gate, defending this ruling today. If you don't agree that Tamir Rice, that there should have been an indictment, the least you could do is admit that the evidence presented, why? In the handling of the case is suspect. You have to admit some things about this case. Even if you somehow, because I understand that we're not going to all agree on the same thing. I get that. But there are certain things that are very evident here. That it was mishandled or handled differently than most 99% of all other cases that I've ever covered. And I've done 800 and something videos. I've covered many cases. I've yet to see a prosecutor try a case in such a way that he's really the defense attorney, not the prosecutor. Okay? There's a lady at CNN, her name is Jean Casares. She's a jackass, and that's who I'm talking about. But okay, I'll open up the phone lines now. Thank you, Midcat people, for being here. People on Blog Talk Radio, people on Stitcher and iTunes. Yeah. I think that's enough to get started, right? Hope I got your juices flowing. First call. Hey, how you doing, lady?
Not good. Not good at all. My heart hurts. The first thing that came to mind, it doesn't surprise me, first and foremost, the same old rhetoric that we see over and over as people of color. And it's just black lives have no value in this country. We already know this. And I don't even know why they even posture to even waste the time to even do an investigation. I don't even know why they do it. They just might as well just say, and I'm not going to cut my words today. I'm just not going to do it because I'm just not in that kind of mood today. They might as well just say, hey, this one more dead nigga. Here's a couple of $1 million, niggas, and get the fuck up out of our faces, niggas, and we tired of y'all niggas. Bye, niggas. That's basically what they're saying. That's basically exactly what they're saying. So they can posture and they can sound politically correct and all that kind of stuff. Yep. But this stuff, we black people are under a state of emergency. We are under a state of emergency because I already knew it was going to go that way. And I just had a talk with my 25-year-old son. He lives in L.A. He's in college. And I'm petrified because I have two sons. And my son told me I stay away from the police as much as possible. I mean, this is ridiculous. You have a son, Tim. You have two sons, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, this is ridiculous. It ain't like you give your son this conversation one time. It's constant in our house. Constant.
Yep.
Constant.
Yep.
It's constant. It is constant. And people, sometimes I have a tendency to joke around, but I really be serious. Our family limit where we go. We don't go to the movies anymore. We don't hang out anymore. And I have been putting this out in the media. Stop going to these people's stores. Stop patronizing all these businesses. Just stay in the fucking house. Just stay away from them. Stay away from them. When you see one, jump in the car and get out of the way, because they will kill us. This is no joke. This is nothing to play with. These are our lives, and our lives don't mean shit in this country. They want us gone. Before my father passed, he said this to me about 10 years ago. He said, this country has no use for black folks. They don't want us around no more. They want us to fuck up out of this country, and we're not dying fast enough for them. We're not dying fast enough. And it's ridiculous. It's like, sometimes I wonder, it's like when I used to work, I used to wonder, is there a thing that, is there a thing called white terrorism? Yes, it is. It really gets down to race. We are under a state of emergency, and some of us is not taking this shit real serious.
Right.
We have to go read back and not just talk to our sons. We have to talk to the entire family. If you got a great-grandmama still living, they will shoot up your grandmother.
Yep.
I picked up on this when they beat the hell out of Rodney King. And I said, this don't look good. And I had tears in my eyes. And I was real young back then. And something, the energy just shifted inside of me. And it's just building. And I don't know how our president cannot say nothing. But then Bruce Jenner can put on a fucking dress and he wants to say, oh, I'm proud of you. He's not going to say nothing. But, like I always say before, if they would have indicted, I would have been utterly surprised, because when you are dealing with this type of evil, this is what they are supposed to do. Expect the worst. Don't expect the best out of people who are evil. And evil crosses all races. That's the human family. Because, I'll go back to the human family. I don't want the white race to feel attacked. But you have to understand, when you are African American, you can feel like that sometimes. But the human family can be quite evil. And when people do evil things in the dominant society, this is what they are supposed to do. And we have to respect it. Not love it, not like it, or anything like that, but we have to respect it and stop playing. Oh, they're going to take care of it. They're going to take care of it. No, we all collectively have to do something. We all have to do something. We really need to sit down and talk back to our families. And my predictions are coming true. I said the last 2 years of office is going to be the worst. It is the worst for us. It is the worst. We are in a state of emergency, and I'm really trying not to just go there, but this is painful. This is really painful. And it's just sheer nastiness. I've never seen so many incompetent people in my entire life. I mean, it's just lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. What I will do is I will do the Tim Black show, and then I'll watch the news and then listen to the lies. That's how I approach it now, Tim. I listen to you first, then I listen to the news. I don't do it the other way anymore. And it's incredible. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Tim said this. They didn't say that.
Nope.
Really?
They leave it out.
Wow.
They leave it out, Kim. They leave it out. Anything. And you know what? We're telling the same story, but they leave out important facts, like you didn't know that officer was on a training duty at the time when they got the call, did you?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
no.
he was getting trained for the job when he took the call. So I already know this is going to be a walk-away layup for a civil action case. But we're not talking about civil action. We're talking about criminal action at this point. But like I said, I had to dig for that, Kim, because that was buried. That information was buried, and it shouldn't have been buried.
Yeah, now I tell you something I found out that a lot of people do not know.
What's
Do
that?
you know how long they kept that child on ice?
No, I don't know.
They kept him on ice over 6 months. And the mother was like, I have to bury my child. What are y'all doing? They toyed around with this case from day one. I would not have allowed that. A lot of people don't know that. I dug that up, too. I was utterly shocked. I said, what?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why they got this kid on ice for over 6 months?
I knew they kept the body for a long time. I didn't know it was that long, though. Goodness gracious. That did make that made a little bit of news. I don't know, a while ago they did talk about that because she went to the media complaining. A little bit of news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very little. They didn't really hide that, though, but it wasn't a big story. They gave us some bullshit about we need to further examine or additional autopsy, or I don't know what there was to examine. What was their reason? Did they give a reason for that, Kim?
No, not at all. Not at all. It made no sense. I read it, and I kept digging, and I read some more articles, and nobody could give any explanation. Only thing that I read was they kept the child's body on ice for over 6 months,
right.
And they asked the family not to file anything or not to press any charges, try to press any charges or anything like that. They was like, oh, just hold it. Just put them in a holding pattern. Right. And I'm really not surprised just because of how the foundation of it was. It was sloppy from day one, just from day one. And they just do too much posturing. And to me, they just need to nip it in the bud immediately. Like this poor child, this white kid gets killed. They knew what to do within about 48 hours, something like that. They knew what to do. And I would respect people more to just tell me, nigga, I'm not going to do nothing for your black ass. To get y'all asses on. I mean, that's the only way to put it. I don't mean to sound so raw, but it's that raw. It's that raw.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, you're not going to do nothing for us? Bye. Yep. Let me take my family and go bury them.
Yep.
And then I go sue your ass because you're not going to do nothing.
Yep.
Not going to do anything. And the thing that I don't think people are collectively getting what I'm saying. Black people look at money different than white people. We don't get that much of it. They just say it's the cost of doing business. Here's some money. If the money that I just received from my mother just passing, they can take every dime back. I want my mama back. That's how we are. That's just how our race is. We cherish our people more than some damn money. And they just think, oh, money will just take our pain away. No, it won't do that. It simply won't do that. But I must digress because I'm getting really heated about this, and I have to respect your show.
Well, okay. Well, look, Kim, I thank you, babe, for your input and letting it all hang out, man. You ain't got to censor yourself. I'll stop you when you go too far. Don't worry. You're doing well. Give it up for Kim. No doubt, lady. Give it up for Kim, y'all. Give it up for Kim. Hey, man, it's going to be one of those shows because there's going to be people who are highly upset, and I'm encouraging people to express themselves fully. I mean, we're on the internet. This ain't Fox News. This isn't MSNBC. This isn't CNN. This is the internet. This is Tim Black at Night, and here there's no censoring. So, I don't want to, that don't mean just call up and just, have a little decorum, but express yourself. All right? Okay. Thank you, Kim. Going to the next call. How you doing? I'm Tim Black, and you're live. Who is on the line? Hello? We'll put you back on hold. If you call up, if some people who call up to the show are just listening because you can listen on your phone, let me give the phone number out. Sorry, guys. The phone number is 323-870-4064. That's 323-870-4064. Call up if you want to voice your opinion. and let me keep it moving. Los.
So what up, Uncle Tim?
Hey, Los, how you doing, man? How was your holiday?
Oh man, it was cool, man. Glad it's over. Glad we can somewhat get back to normal. All the chaos has kind of died down.
Yeah, I mean, hate to give you this as a late Christmas gift. The what I considered a murder of a child, but here we go.
Man, I mean, it takes pure evil people to look at this video and not see anything wrong with it. Like, what else can you say about it? Like, how can you defend this type of madness? Honestly, this is how I feel. Only way that this stuff is going to change if people take us more serious. You can't just pay us off. All the little, tearing the city up. All no, forget that. We bring that officer here. We want that. We want your life. Until that's the only way they're gonna respect us. Because if they is to kill us and give us this fake fiat currency, just pay them off and nothing happens from it. What is going to change? Because this has been going on for hundreds of years. This is nothing new. It's just got a little more sophisticated. Some things get swept under the rug. Some things get publicized. But until people, because I know if you kill my son, I don't care what the judge finish. I don't care if they find you guilty or whatever. Like, I'm coming at you. And that's just what it is. But, at the end of the day, I want peace. But leave me alone and respect me. Because I'm going to give you the same thing. But it's obvious there's no respect. And they need to start, like I seen a meme today that I don't even know if it's true, but it probably is true, that hairdressers, they have to have more training. They have to have more training than police officers.
Yeah, did you see that in my Facebook group? Did you see that on my Facebook?
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess I did. I couldn't remember where I seen it.
Good. I'm glad you saw that. Right. And you know what? That's a true statement. It's factual. That most hairdressers have to go through more training than your average police officer. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Los.
First and foremost, you good. Yeah, when they they obviously need to go through more extensive training, because it's like, are you here to save lives or are you here to take lives? Because his actions showed that he wasn't there to save no life. You don't pull up on those situations and shoot a person within 10 seconds if you're trying to neutralize a situation. That's not how you neutralize a situation. And time and time again, we see how they handle us, and it's no respect and no love. And it's the same thing over and over, and nothing happens. And some black people do, would rather have whoever got shot or killed, over money. But I've seen cases where, we seen a case in Chicago where that mother took the money and didn't say a word. We ain't heard nothing out of her. We ain't even seen her. We don't even know what she looked like.
Right.
So people got I don't know, everybody different. I just take life very serious,
Right.
And until people, be like, no, you're not just going to kill my loved one and just pay me off, or just find them not guilty and just sweep it under the rug, and that's going to be the end of it. No, that's not enough. People got to, that's the only way we're going to get respect, and I don't see no other way, because going through their broken system it's showing us it's not working. We're being judged by people that hate us, and people need to, these are the things that show us that nothing has changed. Because how can you kill a child like that and nothing happens from it? How can you kill a child like that if you really got a heart and we ain't even heard from the officer? Let's say I just couldn't see myself killing somebody, period, unless I had to, and not having no compassion.
Right.
These dudes, they have to be stone-faced killers. It is, like I said, and then the sad part is the people, the majority white people that come behind them defending the bullshit. And it's like, how can you defend this? How evil, how insensitive can you be to defend something like this? But they do it time and time again, And like I said, it's nothing new, just another day in America.
I think it's a combination of people thinking. Well, but first of all, we're all raised in America, so we're all infected with the same diseases as far as how we look at. And I mean, when I say disease, I mean we all have a warped sense of what black means. And I just think people
Yeah.
need to accept that and stop glossing that over. Like, it affects black people, it affects white people, Latin American people, Asian people, Native American. I mean, it's a part of our history, but it's still here. So,
Yeah.
until we address that, it affects us all, and it. See, look, this is the thing. And I was going to save this, but I'm gonna go into it a little bit here. Carlos, the fact that they won't have a problem getting a civil case won is because when if the DOJ goes and looks, this is going to be so evident. I bet you every dollar I make the next 3 years that when Department of Justice goes to Cleveland and they open the books and they look, they'll see that twice as many black people were shot by police in Cleveland than white folks. They're gonna see that. That's gonna be evident. It's gonna be clear as day that that's the problem. That's why they keep winning these civil cases. So I'm tired of hearing people saying, "Oh, why do they keep giving these people money?" Because when they investigate, the numbers show, the evidence is there. As clear as my skin is black or brown, that there's a disparity in how they hand out bullets. That's why.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like I said, that's plain as day. But like I said, people, man, if people want to change it, it got to be consequences. You can't just kill us and that be the end of it. And we may get money, may not. That's not enough. And because in any community, when you come in there and you rob people, you steal from people, you kill people, it's gonna be consequences behind it.
Right.
Your whole movement is gonna be different. You're not gonna come in there like you usually do. But when it's just like on a site, what they call them, where gun-free zone.
Right.
You're not gonna come into you're gonna come into a gun-free zone willing to start trouble more than you are into a gun pro zone. You ain't gonna go to no gun show acting crazy. Before you would go to it. I mean, that's just how it is. People are going to take the easy targets, and right now we're looking like easy targets to them because there's no consequences behind it. But like I said, I know, like I said, if that was my son,
right.
I can't say what I would do, but just know that it's going to be justice one way or else.
Justice. I feel you, man.
Yeah, man. It's sad, man. It's but like you said, we would have been shocked if it happened any other way, but it's still sad that something like this could happen and nobody see anything wrong. The man not get charged with anything. Like, come on now, man. It takes a real coward. Like I said, I carry my gun almost everywhere I go, and the last thing I want to do is shoot somebody. That's not my first option.
Right.
That's definitely not my first option because you can't, like I said, you can't bring the life back. Like I said, people don't cherish lives, and obviously they don't respect our lives. And that's why they do the things they do.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons why I'm a little more than a little. Why I'm pissed off with people who are pushing back on this case. I even went to I went to a couple different sites. One of them was MSNBC, a very liberal, very left-wing site for the most part. And they did a little poll. They had an unscientific poll, and in that poll they said that 58% of the people believe that they got it right. No, 58% disagreed with the verdict, but that meant that 42% agreed with it. So yeah, I got a problem with that, man. I got a problem with it,
man. It's sad, and I like I said. It's the same thing over and over. I'm like, how can you defend this? How can you look at this video and say justice? This here is justified. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're pure evil. And the sad part is that these people probably go to church every Sunday. They pray to God and they do all these things, but they got hate in their heart for people just because of the color of their skin. Or just because of their religion.
Because
And it's like I can't stand for that. Yeah, like come on, man, how you gonna hate somebody because of what they believe when everything you believe is just another opinion at the end of the day. It comes out of a book.
Right.
Like, but that's just the ignorance in America where everybody thinks that they right and what they believe is just is law. If this is what they believe is wrong, what you believe don't matter. That's just like the little thing with the little ignorant white woman was sitting there calling the little Brazilian guys Muslim and talking all the ignorant shit. And it's like, come on, man. These people really exist. We think it's just, sporadic. No, these people really exist. A lot of them just don't speak up. They're not as vocal.
It's true.
Yeah,
all right,
man.
Carlos, man.
Man. I appreciate getting me in, man.
Yo, man. Hey, thank you for the call, man. I'm going to leave you on hold. Give it up for Carlos speaking his mind. That's his opinion. %42 of the people on the MSNBC website felt that the shooting was fine and that it was a tragic thing. I'm giving them that. They're probably saying it was tragic. But they feel that Tamir Rice caused his own death. And I'm telling you, folks, the problem we have in America is that people rarely see through the eyes of other people. And when I say that, I mean those people who feel that way, they're just identifying with the officer. They're not identifying with Tamir Rice at all. They're not remembering being 12 and playing with guns like we used to when we were kids and joking around and, they are not thinking, they're not putting themselves in the shoes of the parents of Tamir Rice, which is what you're supposed to do when someone brings a lawsuit. You're not supposed to put yourself in the shoes of the killer. You're supposed to put yourselves in the shoes of the killed. That's sort of how our legal system is supposed to work. But it don't work that way when it's cops for some reason. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it. Holler if you hear me. All right, let me keep it moving. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Jason Reed. How you doing today?
Hey, Jason. What's going on, my man?
I'm doing fine. One of the biggest things I'm hearing a lot, but actually I'm not hearing a lot, is the conflict of interest in the courtroom. That's huge, and let me tell you why. One of my friends, he was an NYPD officer. He actually left because unlike a lot of these cops, he has a conscience, and he saw the hypocrisy that was going on in the police department, and he couldn't live with himself, and he just said, I quit. He just woke up one day and said, I can't do this anymore. But anyway, to make a long story short, he said you should see how good friends these cops are with the prosecutors. Not only are these cops good friends with the prosecutors, some of these, people don't really understand. Prosecutors get a lot of threatening, I can't say it, people threaten their lives on a daily basis. Yep. And a lot of these prosecutors, they rely on the police officers to protect them, because sometimes these prosecutors, they get serious threats, and what happened is the police give them 24 surveillance. And also the prosecutors, they need the cops' cooperation to make their cases. Because you have to understand, a prosecutor, his long goal is to probably get at a higher level, meaning to go further up in a law enforcement field or whatnot. And that means he needs the police officers to help him prove his case. And my point in saying this is this. Some of these prosecutors, and my friend was saying this, some of them are righteous dudes, but they're scared of the blowback. Because a lot of these prosecutors, they're scared of the cops more than justice. That's what my friend was telling me. He said some of these, because you have to understand, like I said before, these prosecutors, they constantly get threatened all the time by criminals. And police are the one protecting them and their families. And what people fail to realize is, I don't know why nobody's talking about just creating a whole different system, because the way the system works right now, these prosecutors are scared of the police force. and they're scared of the blowback and the fact that if they go against one of their own, because that's what it really is, going one of their own, the blowback is huge. I mean, huge. I mean, their families. You got prosecutors out there who got family, and they constantly, police will start threatening their families. And this is serious stuff. Nobody talks about this. And I'm not. And the problem is the system is corrupt at its core, because how are you going to have a prosecutor prosecute one of the people he's constantly dealing with every day, who actually is helping him make his case? That's just crazy to me. And that's how the system works. And that's why some of these prosecutors, they will not go. Because you know what my friend said? He said a prosecutor either make a case or fail a case purposely. And that's what you see throughout the country. These prosecutors supposed to get justice for the families. They're actually looking out for the cops. They purposely come out with a lousy case, because the prosecutors know what type of jury to get to make a case. Jurors are very important. And they know how to analyze the jurors to make sure that juror is going to either be for their case or against their case. And a lot of the prosecutors who's there to prosecute police, they make sure the case fails. And what my friend was telling me, he worked in NYPD, some of these prosecutors, you would not believe the type of stuff they get from the cops, from gifts to presents. Some of these prosecutors, cops come to their house and hang out with them, buy stuff for their family. They have fundraising. I mean, you would not believe the buddy system that goes on in the court system. So it's like for me, if I was a prosecutor, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm dealing with these cops every day, and they're protecting my family, and they're helping me, and we're good friends, you think you really going to think I'm going to go and prosecute these guys who I'm seeing every day? Well, actually, when criminals threaten me, they're actually outside my house protecting my own family. You think I'm really going to come against them? Nobody asks these questions. Nobody asks these questions. We just keep saying the system is against us. We're not looking how the system is constructed. The way the system is constructed is a joke. It's really a freaking joke. Because my friend, like I said, he was a cop, and he said the system is a joke. You would not believe what goes on. I mean, some of these cops are committing heinous crimes, and the prosecutors will make sure the case fails. They're literally risking their career to make sure the case fails against that cop, because, like I said, they have a fear. These prosecutors are actually scared of the police department, because you're talking about hundreds of cops here against one prosecutor or two. Because the cops are they're gonna outnumber the prosecutors. And like I said, the prosecutors need the police to make their case. So if they're trying to elevate their career, they need the cops to work with them so they can make their cases. Because the more cases they win, the better their career looks. So they need the cops to elevate their cases. So if you're going to go against these cops, then they're going to come up with a lot of cases that you could have made, but the cops are constantly making mistakes, and they're purposely doing it to ruin your case. You see what I'm saying to you?
Oh, I do.
People don't understand how the system is set up.
I do, Jason. I get what you're saying. In fact, you must be a new caller, because I've made that case so many times, and I wish you would have been there to back me up when I've made this argument. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
because I talked about the breakdown of the system. I've even went a step further. I said, you know what we need to do? We need to pay cops more money. The good cops need to get paid more money. We need to fire bad cops. We need to make sure the cops can't be retaliated against. We need to pay cops sort of like we would a person who's working in a business of sales, or pay them based on commensurate with their performance. Make money be attached to it. Stop making it be just, oh, you're a good guy, you did a good job. No, let's compensate people for not shooting people. Let's compensate people for the better departments get more money, not based on better by arrest, but based on better by how they treat the public. I mean, hell, it's not that hard to do.
Right there. I like that. I like that approach. That's actually genius what you just said right now.
I mean,
genius, meaning that, let's say they do a survey in that neighborhood, and the towns that the police get a good quality service score, then the pay goes up. That's actually a nice approach. I like that. I never heard anybody bring that up. That's genius what you just said right there.
Hey,
that's
thank
genius.
You, Jay.
But they're not going to do it, of course. They're not going to do it.
No, because it's too much like right, man. But see, people like to frame me, for instance, they say I'm a cop hater. I'm not a cop hater. I'm a bad cop hater. You understand what I'm saying? I think cops should be paid just as much as a guy working on Wall Street, or just as much as a doctor, just as much as a profession that you admire, because cops have our lives in their hands. Cops have our lives in their hands. They should be compensated accordingly. I also feel the same way about teachers and firemen. But we're talking about cops right now. And a lot of people
But
go.
You know what too?
Yeah.
You know what too? Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
When my friend was the NYPD officer, what made him quit the job, and I forgot to tell you this I'm surprised I forgot to tell you because this is the most important thing out of everything I said. What made him quit the police department was when he saw basically what happened is he was rounding some people up, right? Him and his partner. His partner has about 6 more years on the force than he does. He only had like 2 years. The guy had 6 years. So to make a long story short, basically they were rounding up some people because they were looking after certain individuals. Like that old saying, a black guy with a jacket. So they round up everybody, right? And he noticed one of the cops. This was like a girl, young girl. She probably was 14, 13 years old. And he basically, the way he was feeling on her, it was almost like he was literally sexually groping her. And he took to the cop to the side, hey, man, what are you doing? The other cop said, look, I've been living with this force longer than you. Mind your fucking business. I know what I'm doing. And the guy kept groping this young girl. And when he told his supervisor this, they literally, the next day, put him in a different, they gave him a horrible shift because there's a certain shift nobody likes to do.
Yep.
And it's almost like he felt like he got reprimanded for going to the supervisor and letting him know what this other cop was doing. Because he said, I saw this other cop, the way he's feeling on this girl, it was totally unnecessary. Yep. So the other cops, like basically in the police environment, there's this no snitching. Just like with the gangs, there's no snitching. Yep. It's the same exact thing in the police force. And as a matter of fact, he said there's cops out there, their family actually been threatened. They would threaten their family, say, I know what school your daughter goes to, and I could have a criminal. The cops would say this. He said that he heard cops say, I would have one of the gangbangers, because some of these cops do low business. Like, they do, like, little, under-the-table deals with some of these drug dealers.
Right.
So you have cops that say, look, I have criminal friends out there. If I tell them to do something, they will do it for me. So you have, people don't understand what goes on in the police force. There's so much criminal activity in police force. Like, literally, when they tell you police are gangs, they're literally gangs with badges. Literally, because he told me some of the stuff that was going on. I was shocked. I'm like, it sounds like Training Day. You know the movie Training Day with Denzel Washington?
Yep.
I said, it literally sounds like Training Day.
Yep.
I mean, I'm serious. You have cops saying, I have friends out on the street who I can have them come and kill your kid.
Yep.
Now, and then the thing is, it's just mind-blowing. A cop saying it to another cop because the other cop is trying to do something right, trying to make the right move. So this evil atmosphere in the police department, it's almost like the bad cops, they're running the game. There's good cops out there, but they're scared as hell because the repercussion is huge. You're talking about your whole family could be assassinated. And like I said, a lot of these cops, they do under-the-table deals with a lot of criminals out there. It's almost like the criminals have their back. Like, they'll say, look, you do me a favor, next time I see you do something, I'll look the other way. And the criminals will do it for them. The criminals will oblige to their requests. So a lot of these cops are in fear for their lives, even from the criminals. Because you have cops out there will say, I'll have a criminal friend of mine do harm to your family when you least expect it.
Amazing.
So how the good cops going to rise? They can't. They're scared for their lives. And there's no protection. The government don't protect them. The system don't protect them. Right. They're defenseless.
Right. Right. Who you going to call if you're a cop? Check this out, Jason.
Yeah.
You just brought up a very good point, man. I want you to hang tight. Check this out. What Jason is saying is something I think more people need to think about. Imagine this. When you watch a movie or a show about Mexican police and the corruption in Mexico, we've all heard the stories about how corrupt Mexico is. Why is it that people in America don't believe that American cops can be just as corrupt? Why is it that you believe the corruption only can exist somewhere else? It's sort of like those people, Jason, for whatever reason, believe that Chicago's the only place that cops can be on the take and cover up evidence. They believe it's only Chicago. Oh, terrible Chicago. Like it's the only place. Like when Walter Scott got shot in the back 4 times, they believe Walter Scott's the only person who's ever been shot in the back, cop plant evidence, and then lie on a report. And then all these other people who die, all these other people that get shot, I'm sure they follow procedure. I'm telling you, Jason. I'm telling you, bro.
I'm telling you. That's why my friend quit the police department. He said he will go home and he will be paranoid. Mind you, you're a cop and you're going home. And, you're a cop. You're supposed to feel like, hey, I can protect myself and my family. Right. And you feel completely defenseless because some cop is going to have a criminal come into your house and rape your kids and kill your family because he has that much power on the street, because these drug dealers need the cops more. You know, these drug dealers are doing deals with these cops because the drug dealer will be like, hey, do me a favor and I'll do you a favor. Yep. And they go back to back. People don't understand what's going on out there. They really don't know the full scope of what's really going on in America. They really have no idea. And my friend told me, and he said the day he quit the police department, he was so happy. He thought all the pressure on his back was gone, because he said he was paranoid, because he said the stuff that was going on in the police department is like literally a gang. He said it's literally, there's no difference between the Bloods, the Crips, and the police department. Matter of fact, he said it's worse because these guys literally have the law to protect themselves. Yep. So because he said some of these cops are fondling young girls right in front of the public, and you can't say shit. Like, just literally going up to these young girls, 15, 16, putting their hands between their crotches and acting like they're doing their job, and really they're not. They're literally sexually abusing this minor child, and they get away with it. And if you're a cop, you have a child, and you try to do the right thing, now they're telling you, I have criminal friends out there that will come, and I know the school your child goes to. I know he goes to this elementary school. I have one of my crackhead friends come and fucking kill your child. Yep. Now, as a good cop, what do you think that good cop's going to do? You think that good cop's still going to stand for justice, or he's going to back down? Because now his child could be his child could be, innocently killed because he's trying to do the right thing. People don't take that into consideration. There's good cops out there, but they're scared because the environment of the police department is completely evil and corrupt. Just there's no difference between the Mexican police department in Mexico and the police department out here. The thing is, the American people believe that the system is better in America. Yep. And it's not. It's identical.
It's propaganda.
What my friend was telling me in the past 2 years when he was a cop, I was shocked. I didn't even want to believe him. I didn't want to believe him. And he was telling me, and tears was running down his eyes. He said, I always wanted to be a cop to protect people and do the right thing. Right. And it's like he said, these cops are like joining a satanic organization. He said these motherfuckers literally, excuse my language, it's almost like they get rewarded for committing evil acts. I mean, prime example, look at Alabama. In Alabama, I don't know if you heard, you had a sheriff and a district attorney literally telling the police department within his organization to go and plant drugs and guns on innocent black men since 1996. Thousands of innocent black men went to jail, and guess what happened to all those guys? They got promoted. One of them now is the head of Homeland Security. So when you do evil acts in a police department, you get promoted. Yep. So it's like a satanic organization.
Yep. Wow.
People don't realize that, Jason. Man.
Hey, man, look, man, hey, man, thank you so much for sharing that information with my callers, with the world, actually, Just keep your head down, man. People have been telling me, Tim, you need to be careful, too, because we speaking on things that the public not supposed to know about. But I appreciate you, Jason.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, brother.
All right, fam. Don't be no stranger, man. I need to hear from you again.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. All right.
That's what's up, man. Give it up for Jason, y'all. Wow. You don't know how good I feel having Jason call up. I've told you the story of a firefighter that I knew who became a cop. Did it for 6 months, went right back to being a fireman. Told me he didn't have the stomach for it. Couldn't do it. I didn't know him as well as I'm assuming Jason knows this guy. He didn't tell me everything. He just told me he had no stomach for it. He couldn't do it. He wanted to go back to helping people. That's all he said. Now, I've told you things. I've been told, Tim, be careful what you say. Not because the Homeland Security going to come get me, because cops going to come get you. I've been told that several times. But people believe the propaganda that's put in the mainstream media. People believe the movies. People believe the other shit they see floating around. Right? They just do. They just do. For whatever reason, they believe it's true. And here's the thing. Until it happens to you, until you get a peek inside the window, you're going to keep living on this illusion. But people, meanwhile, while you're not believing it, real people with real lives, with real children, with real wives are dying every day, are being molested every day, are being raped every day. Do you really believe? Hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. Let's go there. America, Europe, whoever's watching, my people in London, I got people in London, Australia. Do you really believe Daniel Holtzclaw is the only cop raping women on the job, using his badge to get sex on the job? Are you really believe? Come on. I know people watching me are not that naive to think a person who has a gun in a car who can take people's freedom, there aren't more cops using that badge to have sex with underage girls or whoever they choose. Oh, do I have a bunch of naive people watching me now who somehow find that a hard stretch of the imagination? What grape Kool-Aid are y'all drinking? You have to know that people will abuse power if they're able to. Oh, you just think they're just so ethical. They would never do that. It would be wrong. You believe that. You believe that. And yeah, and America doesn't drop drones on kids. We kill like 1 million Iraqis, civilians, 1 million of them. But they're just the terrorists, we're not. When will people wake up to propaganda bullshit and realize we're all getting treated, we're all getting dogged out? Black people just a little bit more, but we all get dogged out. We're all catching hell. But that's what I'm saying. People are looking at Tamir Rice, they're looking at this case, and they're identifying with the cop. Oh, well, he didn't have much time to think. Neither did. No one's saying Tamir had time to think. Remember the 12-year-old who's dead now? No one's saying, well, Tamir didn't have time to think. They're just saying, well, the officer didn't have time to think. Because they connect with this officer because they've watched every show they've watched since they were 12 or 10 or 9 or 7 years old has showed officers in such a angelic light. Go! Get out of here, lady! Go! They're so used to seeing that bullshit. It's in their brain, whether it's true or false. They're seeing Bruce Willis. Every time they see a white cop on TV, they see Bruce Willis. Die Hard. That's what's wrong. So we don't identify with but you know what? No, hold on a second. We do identify with the victim. When the victim is a 6-year-old little white kid named Jeremy Martis. Oh my God. Woo! Woo! And don't get me wrong, man. I feel for the Martises. His grandmother contacted me. She wrote me a letter and told me how she appreciated my video, my support video for them. How I called out those cops. But come on, y'all. I didn't see 58% or 42% of people going, well, Jeremy had it coming. I mean, he shouldn't have been, his dad shouldn't have been, driving a piece of shit pickup truck, living in Louisiana or wherever the hell they lived at. You never know. Sometimes, you got to shoot into a car. I mean, I get comments like that. I do get them, but never about the Jeremy Martises of the world. But it's just as wrong. Dead is dead. Wrong is wrong. Oh, Tim, don't be so hard on the cops. Bad cops. I should be able to be hard on bad cops. You should be hard on bad cops. You should be hard on bad doctors too. Oh, well, all these great doctors out here doing this. Well, why are you complaining because they took out your spleen when you just came there to have your tooth extracted? What's wrong? So what, they killed grandma? It was an accident. All doctors aren't bad. Doctors' lives matter. My son had the flu, and y'all gave him AIDS with tainted needles. Doctors' lives matter. But you would have no problem with me wanting that doctor's ass locked up. But when it's a cop, you got a problem. Well, this is a cop. He's, air traffic, guys who fly airplanes, air pilots, their job's very dangerous. One of the most dangerous jobs. I don't hear anybody. Pilots' lives matter. Guys washing windows on them big ass skyscrapers. Skyscraper window washers' lives matter. A lot more of them die, by the way. Iron workers die. Cab drivers, Cab drivers' lives matter, yo. But I don't hear that. Much more risky job than being an officer. I mean, I'm just saying, these are just the numbers we're talking about. And once again, the reason why these families keep getting this money, because even Stevie Wonder could walk in and look at the books and see there's a big disparity between how many black people get killed by cops in that jurisdiction and white folks. So they easily get paid because the numbers show you got a problem in your police department. They don't even fight it. They just give the money up because there's no reason to fight it. You could get sued for 5 times as much because the lawyer is going to beat that case. The lawyers are going to win that case because the data is already there, folks. The data is already there to show we have a problem in our police forces. A problem. A problem. But it's not about getting money. It's about getting rid of the bad cops. All right. I'm going to another call. I tell you, boy. I tell you. Make sure I get the right people. Try and go in order. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Oh, I'm just listening.
Okay, cool, man. Thank you. Got a couple listeners. Hope I got the right person. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Sarge. And thank you for taking my call. I'm looking at this replica handgun. That's what it is. It wasn't a toy. It's a replica. Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right in front of me. The one this kid had. Now, I carried an M1911A1 .45 caliber automatic pistol on my hip in Vietnam for 18 months, okay? I'm an expert in that weapon. I mean, I know it backwards and forwards. And what I'm looking at here looks like a modified 1911A1 with an extended grip safety.
Hey, Sarge,
and an extended slide, and I'm telling you
don't
right
talk
now,
over me. Don't talk over me.
Let that thing get
Don't
out
talk
of the
over me.
waistband before I would have pulled the trigger too.
Don't talk over me, Sarge. Okay, calm down, Sarge. Guess what? They never saw the whole gun. You know that, right? You know that, right? Because he never had a chance to pull a gun out. Hold up, calm down. They never saw the entire gun, so half of that shit you just said is not applied. It doesn't apply, right?
Do you know what they
right? No, listen. Dude, you sound like a jackass. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to. I'm gonna hang up on you. I'm gonna hang up on you if you don't calm down. Okay.
Maybe I'll hang up because you don't want to discuss this.
You're not gonna yell at me, motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, for people who are not dumb like whoever this guy was, you can't say if you wouldn't have wore that, you wouldn't have got raped. If she never made it out the house with the clothes. Right? I mean, it's a shitty argument to begin with, especially in a state where you can have guns. Ohio is a place where people carry all the time. It's a state where you can carry firearms. So let's imagine the kooky people like Sarge who believe that a woman who gets raped contributes to her rape based on her clothing, which is the antiquated Islam, weird, some jihadist shit, right? Where women have no rights. But let's go with me, pretend for hypothetical. I know it's a straw man, but I'm proving a point. Or I should say, it's a false narrative. It's not comparable. I get it, but I'm proving a point. Let's imagine that. So she's there, she's got on some booty shorts and some pasties. Shouldn't be wearing that shit, right? But you know what? What if the ordinance says everybody can wear that if they want to? What if that's a commonplace thing to do in that area? In that state, it's not illegal to have a gun. And since you thought he was 20, he could have legally had a gun. So that argument that this looks like a gun only works in a gun-free zone. It doesn't work in a state like Ohio where you can own guns. See, and it pisses me off that a man like Sarge, who knows all about guns, obviously doesn't know Ohio is a gun state, where he and his friends, anybody in Ohio with a license, can show a gun. because they can carry guns. John Crawford was killed in Ohio in a place buying a gun. Now, why was he killed in a place where you can buy a gun, in a state where you can own guns and carry guns? Why are people calling up to report people with guns in places where people can have guns? And I'm telling you, folks, we got some mental problems in our country. Other than this idiot Sarge. He's a fringe loser. I'm talking about we have a problem because we demonize some people. That's the problem. It have to cross your mind as a law enforcement officer in a state where people can carry guns, that if you go on a call not because a person shot a gun, but because he displayed a gun, you have to have in your mind, this could be a guy who has a perfectly good reason for having that gun. It's not like Maryland where you can't just walk around with guns. I mean, D.C. Well, Maryland, I don't know. But D.C., you can't have guns. New York, I don't think you can have guns, right? So if you get a call and you're a cop in New York and they say a guy's walking around with a gun, that's a cause for alarm because that's against the law to begin with. But in Ohio, it's not. You can do that shit. I saw a video of a guy with an AK-47 walking around, just chilling. So my thing is, when the officer rolled up, why was he so hysterical? Why was there such an urgency? What could the urgency be about? I mean, since people can have guns there. But see, people are so concerned with their team winning. Logic means nothing. It's all about my team, and he's a white cop, and I'm a white man, so I'm going to call your show up, nigga, and I'm going to be loud and derogatory and be an asshole. And when you make a salient point that you telling me the intricacies, so they get you focused on these guns. You know what? It could have been a real gun, dumbass. To me, it could have been a real gun. Guess what? If he was 20 and he had a license, he had a perfectly good reason for having it. That's his right. And when I make videos about maybe we should have more licenses for guns, and people should have you go through mental background checks or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. People get pissed like, what? That's our right to carry guns. But now when a black kid gets shot, right? And they say he may have had a gun. It looked like a gun. You're like, okay, that's cool. And then you tell me I got it wrong. You can't have it both ways. You can't say we live in America. In America, we should be able to have a right to bear arms. And then a black kid gets shot bearing an arm. And then you go, well, he had it coming because he was bearing an arm. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You just can't. Sorry. But it's good to know I'm getting people pissed off because maybe he'll think about what he called up here and did, and he'll apologize. I won't sleep on it or wait on it, but maybe later in life he'll think about it. Or maybe when his son pulls out a gun somewhere and they just blow him away, whether it be a place where he can have a gun or not, maybe then he'll say, damn, well, they should have found he could have that gun. There's nothing wrong with him having a gun. Right? That's his right to have that gun. That's why I'm going to start telling black folks, all of you go arm yourselves. Just like these weird necks like Sarge who called up to my show and cussed me out. Go arm yourself. Stop listening to these Democrats telling you not to arm guns, not to have guns. Bad guys got guns. Cops got guns. That lunatic who just called my show has a gun. You need a gun too, or you want to be dialing 911 when you got Sarge creeping outside your house. Huh? Hey, he's you know what? Forget all these great people talking for the NRA, talking well and stuff. They just need Sarge. They need that wacko to call up and do a show, do a commercial with him. You can look at them. Perfect. And then they say, go get your gun because the Sarge is out there. That's what they need to do. The next day you see a sharp spike in gun sales. I believe it. I stand on my assertion. That assertion is the officer did not take time to assess the situation at all. There were so many things that went wrong other than the fact this gun did not have an orange clip on it. So many things. Now we're focusing on, did he have an orange clip on the gun? That in a state where you can carry guns without orange clips all the fucking time. But somehow people are so close-minded, they are so easily swayed. Like magician, a magician, his job is to get you to look over here while he does stuff over here. Hey, and then and I wonder what happened to the pin. I had the pin, oh, guess over here. That's the whole idea of being a magician. But so many people fall for the magician trick. They didn't ask the question. Well, what if he was 20 like you thought he was, and can he have a gun? Don't you get a lot of calls about people with their guns in a state where people can have guns? Why are you so scared about guns? In a place where everybody can carry a gun. Grandma can carry a gun. I'm just saying. At least if you ask the question, I know you aren't a completely in the tank for the police person, that you at least are willing to look at both sides of the argument. I get it. It should have had an orange cap on it because we all know what very calm, sane, rational people like Sarge can do is not the same as what we can do, what you and I can do. We know that. So I get it. We live in different worlds. Or we're treated like we're different in the same world. If you think Daniel Holtzclaw is the only dirty cop who ever raped women on the job, you got to be crazy. I was thinking, and I was going to do a follow-up video to this. I was thinking, how many women do you really think he raped? I mean, if you think Bill Cosby, who do you think's more powerful, a cop with a gun or Bill Cosby? I mean, because they said Bill Cosby raped 50 women. If Bill Cosby without a gun raped 50 women, how many women do you think Daniel Holtzclaw raped on the job? I mean, we got DNA tying this sucker to it. We got GPS proving he took women places and did sexual acts with them. We have their DNA on his DNA. You feel what I'm saying? I don't need to get more graphic than that, do I? Okay, so that's why he got convicted. Who do you think was more of a sexual predator? And why only 13 counts? I'm just saying. Or 9 counts. Like, they didn't get all the counts. But if you believe that he's the only bad cop, if you believe Chicago's the only place where cops plant evidence or hide evidence or erase tapes, come on, man. Is that, or is it like Jason and I kind of came to the conclusion? People would feel so afraid if they thought that America was just like all these other places that they talk shit about all the time. You know? What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and realized that all of this nationalism bullshit that they've been pumping in your head all these years was just that? Car manufacturers make cars, realize that the brakes are bad, and say, well, it'll cost us $320 million to recall them all. We're liable to kill 200 people. If we pay each of them $1 million, that's $200 million. Yep, it's better for us just to keep the cars out there and pay off each of the families. That's the country you live in. I'm not making that up. That's the country you live in. You live in a country that people are willing to do that. But you don't think a cop is willing to plant evidence? And if you see, look, I've lived in bad areas, right? And the rule is this: if you see one roach, that means there are 1,000 somewhere in the walls or some shit. The same thing applies to dirty cops. If you see one cop who hide evidence, erase tapes, there's 1,000 others you won't see do that, because not everybody's that stupid to not look around and see a guy in the bushes with a phone going, gotcha. That's the reason why you know about Walter Scott. If you didn't have some pesky journalists asking for the freedom of information, writing up a report, going through a legal process to get the Laquan McDonald tapes released, you never would have saw that. Forget 14 months, you wouldn't have saw it in 14 years. You only saw that because they fought to get that released to you. Then they make people who blow the whistle on corruption like Edward Snowden look like the bad guy. Because they want you to know the truth. And I bet if you did a poll today, 60% of Americans would say he was a traitor when he risked his life to show you the truth, all because they don't want to know the truth. They'd rather live in make-believe. In the make-believe world of lollipops and unicorns and yoo-hoos. They'd rather live in that world than live in the real world and deal with the real shit. Then they have to accept that all those stories that I grew up hearing my whole life about cops beating black people's ass with cuffs on, knocking people's teeth out, raping women in the hood was all true, and they all didn't make it up, and they all didn't sue. They just talked about it. Then you'd have to live in the world that I have had to live in my entire life, and then you would understand really why people rioted in Ferguson. It was because of 20 years of bad shit that happened in Ferguson. That finally people did something about it. Or finally people just acted out. That's why. You know, and until you accept, but see, this is the problem. Until we all accept, white, black, Latino, Asian, Native American, that there are some problems here, we're going to do nothing but fight ourselves, fight each other. Now, problems are systemic, not individualistic. I don't care if you are a bigot or not, Islamophobic or not, homophobic or not, whatever. I don't care. You are one person. We're talking about a system. A system problem. Who cares if some guy sitting in his drawers watching Archie Bunker don't like black people? I don't care. I'm talking about systems. I don't care if Paula Dean said nigga one day. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if someone called Caitlyn a guy. I don't care. We're talking about systematic problems that are built in that lower the quality of life for groups of people. Not little one-off things that one person does. That don't mean anything. And until we all are able to stomach the reality that a lot of things are just wrong and are broken, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to keep fighting each other, blaming each other because we don't want to be the bad guy. Look, you are not responsible for a system that existed before you were born. Neither am I. And I'm not responsible for a stereotype that people had in their head that existed before I was born. Deal? We gonna shake on that? Keep it real. You got your fingers crossed? That's what I'm talking about. Lord have mercy. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this? Did I lose a caller? Hey, Montague. Well, I can't hear you. All right, let me go to the next caller. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Hello?
Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Oh. What's going on, Tim? It's Murad. Ron Nuri off of
okay, Murad.
Meerkat.
Murad, what's
man?
up, man? I'm doing good, man. Tonight is I don't know, man. I'm hyped tonight, man. I know you can see that. What's up with you?
All right. Normally, I'm going to tell you what I do. Every night, I watch you on Meerkat, right? But normally, I'm multitask, doing other things. Today, I was playing my Xbox. I was playing my new Fallout game I just got. And all of a sudden, I couldn't focus on the game because it was just it was like an episode of Jerry Springer, just on the phone. Like, it's just, you yelling at people, Tim. I mean, you got dudes calling in, yelling at you, cutting you up. I was like, man, you should have shows like you should have that crazy dude call back again. But no, Tim, here's the thing. I'm just gonna be real with you. Your first caller, the dude that was talking about how he knew the cops or whatever, and they rolled like a gang.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you like this, Tim. As a black man, I have a young black son, and I have a little girl. I'm married. I'm trying my best to live this American dream that I've been told my whole life that what I'm supposed to do to be successful by white people. You know what I mean?
Right.
The crazy thing is that legislation, voting, us showing up in the polls, man, ain't none of that shit gonna change. Ain't nothing gonna change. But here, I will say this: you brought up a good point. You talked about Ferguson, and you said how the people there just was like, they couldn't take it no more. But guess what happened? Here's a legislation just automatically got passed when Ferguson erupted, right?
Right.
You saw cops get body cameras. You saw the federal justice system. They're going to start now. The federal government is now going to just start prosecuting, or not prosecute, investigating any time an officer kills, or kills. I think it's anybody, not just a minority. But my point then is that the only time change is going to come is when niggas wild out, burn shit up, and just say enough is enough. Because the reality of it is that in Cleveland's always been this way. Tim, you said it earlier again. You brought up some point. All the stuff that you said about when you were growing up, and you were hearing about these cops raping black women in the hood and beating niggas' heads open and knocking dudes' teeth out. Everybody can't ignore it anymore. It was all true. They was really doing this shit. Now, of course, niggas is niggas, and, a lot of them like to embellish and blame, somebody. That cop put that crack in my pipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the reality of the situation is that there are cops literally doing that. They fucking with us, Tim, and we getting to a point. I think this country is getting to a point where black people, especially this younger generation, these young college kids, they're not putting up with it, man. They're just like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to hear all the talk shit. We ain't trying to hear all the pink shit. And I'm going to tell you something, Tim. The way the election is going, the way Donald Trump is fanning these fires, fanning the flames, Tim, I don't know if it's going to be like a revolution where, people going to be burning stuff down. But I will say this: you're going to see more instances of these police encounters and cops. You're going to see more instances of cops doing fucked up shit. And I'm telling you, Tim, they're not going to get prosecuted. They're not going to get prosecuted, man. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it until the only time they will stop fucking with us is when we make them stop fucking with us. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that now. Let me be clear. I'm not saying on your show that everybody should, bear arms and go kill police officers and shit like that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, and this is proven fact, nothing changes just by, going to the polls, voting, man, and marching. Nobody care about that. That's what makes them comfortable. That's what makes the powers at be. They say, if you have a problem with something, we can do fucked up shit on a dime. A cop can vote their head off on a dime, right?
Right.
But you got to go through this long process of writing to your local congressman and going out to the polls. And if you want to see any changes, right? Right. But they can do fucked up shit, and they can with Tamir Rice. They can wait 400 days, right? 400 days before since he died, and then to determine that they're not going to prosecute. Or they're not going to, bring this dude up on charges. Right. So my point being, Tim, is that, listen, nothing's going to change until we make it change, until we forcibly make it change. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you 1,000%, Miran. I do, man. Hey, look, man, I appreciate you, man, for dropping that real. That's the real,
Not
man.
a problem, man.
No doubt, man. Give it up for Miran, Joe.
All right. Let me run. I gotta go ahead and eat dinner, man. I just wanted to call in and get my sense real quick, bro.
Man, I'm glad you
continue listening to y'all. I'll let you later, man.
All right, Captain. Hey, man, look, sometimes I just need you guys to call in and speak up, man, even when you agree, even when you say, Tim, when you sitting back and you're like, that's my man, you saying it. Call up, because I just like to know I'm not going crazy. And I appreciate you calling me, man. Remind me that I'm not losing my mind, because I don't know. But still, we got our hurdle to go through, because we have to get the dominant society. I'm sorry if you're a white guy, or white lady. This is what it is, You didn't make it this way, but you're benefiting from it. You are. And if you're not, you're not doing it right. It ain't my fault you ain't doing it right. We couldn't get bank loans till what? 60, what? The hell? All right. Police training is horrible. I said police training is horrible. How you going to have hairdressers go through more training than police officers? Police training is horrible. Some of it is just they lack training. I don't think the officer wanted to shoot the young man, Quintonio LeGrier, 7 times. But from what I understand, Quintonio LeGrier ran down the steps with a bat, and he just freaked out. Oh, shit. Shot the lady in the neck who opened the door for him and everything. Bad training. Horrible training. Incapable. That's why I say we need to pay officers more money. Hire better officers and pay them. Pay them. But see, that makes too much sense, right? So why aren't they doing that? Why, if it's so simple that a guy with a little show on the internet could come up with that idea, why aren't they coming up with that idea? All the people in Obama's cabinet, all the people in local police, whatever. Why isn't anyone saying, or the police union, why aren't they saying, give us 30 grand more, we'll get rid of all these problems and get rid of the dead weight. Less officers, more pay. Raise the level of officers, get rid of the deadbeats and the guys who are trigger happy. Why is that an easy solution? Or unless they have a vested interest in keeping it going the way it is. I mean, if we could change it, why aren't we changing it? It's not working. And make no mistake about this, and I want people to know this. Right now, crime is low. Most categories of crime are at all-time lows. All-time lows, guys. Don't buy into the Fox News hype. Crime is at a low. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up yourself. Do it independent. Do a Google. Police deaths. Low. All-time low. Less cops get killed now than they have in the last 30 years. Look it up. Average police officer has more gear and more equipment than the average soldier in Afghanistan. That makes sense to you? I mean, does that really make sense to you? Does it really make sense to you that a soldier right now in Syria has less gear on than a guy working in Wyoming, a cop in Wyoming, responding to a no-knock raid? Which I wish this shit should be illegal. But it's not, because after 9/11, we gave our rights away. Here goes our rights. Here you go. We're scared. Take all our rights, Americans. American government. I don't need my rights. Take them. Pass whatever you want. I'll sign it for you. How about you? Here, let me cut myself open. Use my blood as ink. That's what we did. We gave our rights away out of fear. And they're using fear right now to justify beating the hell out of people, shooting the hell out of people, and stockpiling and warehousing people in prison so they can make money off of them. You sitting around talking about how much prisons cost. You ain't even that. Nobody asking the question, how much do prisons make? Man, you look, in anything I'm telling you, if you go look it up. I encourage you to. I encourage you to look it up because I want you to realize that Tim is not lying to me. He's telling me the truth. He's not a Democrat or Republican or anything. He's just a guy telling the truth. Wow, I like this guy. He knows that most gun deaths are suicides. Once he didn't know that at first, but then he actually did research, unlike Pierce Morgan, and found out most gun deaths are suicides. Go figure. Actually, like 60-something% of gun deaths are suicides. When they talk these big numbers, more than half of them are people shooting themselves. But do they pass a mental health bill? Hell no. Hell no, because they really don't care about saving your life. They really don't care about your life. And I know I got off the topic a little bit, but I just want you to know who you tune into. And what my beliefs are. And not just what my beliefs, I believe based on what my research provides me and the feedback I get and the life I've lived and the facts that I uncover. The officer who shot Tamir Rice, similar to the officer who shot down Laquan McDonald, the only person who fired and didn't need to fire. Other people were present who didn't fire. This isn't basketball where you throw the ball to the guy and say, you got the hot hand, take the shot. No, there are other people there who saw no reason to shoot. All right. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this? Let me write you down as a no-knock. You a no-knock pickup right now. And I'm going to put you down. Okay. Thank you for listening, though. Hello, you're live with Tim Black. Is this Montague?
It is.
Hey, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right for the most part. Just basically woke up after pulling a long shift at work and coming right home, going to sleep.
Wow, man.
But I'm catching it. I'm just catching some of the tail end of the show. But
oh man, you missed this show has been off the hook, Montague. It really has.
I know. Look, you can see I'm catching up on the chat, and it's a wildfire comments on the YouTube.
Okay.
That discussion is pretty good. But now, from what I'm looking at here, from the fact that Tamir Rice, for him because of the fact that they decided not to try the officers that were involved in his death. That's basically just another continuation of the overall agenda. Like I pointed out this time again, whenever they try to build justification for a policy, they basically use their fear of a group of people in order to build that support, get that support from the white community in order to carry out a certain policy,
right?
Like with the war on drugs and whatnot. And that's just basically this is basically that a continuation of getting that support from the white community to carry out a mass extermination of people. They're trying to wipe out the Middle East. They're trying to wipe out black people. They're trying to. They want to wipe these groups out, but they can't get the. They can't get the go ahead without building that support.
Are you kind of breaking up, Montague?
I was saying.
There you go.
Yeah, I was saying they can't build that support. I mean, they can't get that. They can't do what they're trying to do if they can't build that support.
Right. Right.
Because once they are able to dehumanize the entire group of people, then anything is deemed permissible against that group of people.
Right. Right.
That's why if I go on to speak on a Facebook group, I post all those different articles about, like, for example, what led to the birth of the first industrial complex.
Right.
Because that opened that door, with the black codes, with convict lease laws, it just opened up that door to mass incarcerate thousands of black people to the point where we're the majority population in prison. And so what this case also proves, and which is a very sad, it seems that black people are more safe in prison than we are out on the streets.
God damn.
Because either the police are trying to kill you, you got the developers that are trying to price you out of society, make sure that you can't afford anything, can't afford basic necessities and whatnot, so that you can live. It's like there are so many ways that black people are being specifically targeted in this country, and it's basically what Alex Jones would call soft kill genocide. Because that's exactly what's going on in this country. It's a soft kill genocide. What they're doing is what the government is doing is building up the support by dehumanizing, by dehumanizing the people they want to take out now, dehumanizing Muslims, by dehumanizing black people. They want to get that support from everyone else to wipe out those two communities.
Right.
They would go after the Latino community with the same viciousness, and in some ways they do. But they realize Latinos would be the ones that would be doing the work for them, and then basically they want to make them what we were in the past, so they get some sort of respect. And the same with the Asians, they get some sort of respect.
I agree.
And for those who think that I'm speaking bullshit, look up what's known as the model minority net. That's why Asians have actually become the highest paid demographic in America.
That's right.
And the thing is, they didn't demonize. They haven't demonized since the Japanese internment camp. They haven't demonized Asians.
Right.
With the same fervor and viciousness as they have black people since slavery.
That's right. That's true. That's
exactly.
Very true.
It's just like I said. It's just they're trying to build the permission to carry out their bigger agenda, which I believe is world population control. I believe they're trying to build the support to engage in that policy by dehumanizing us.
Right. Right. And it's working.
And by dehumanizing, basically dehumanizing, basically what Hitler did to the Jewish people during the Holocaust.
Yep. Exactly.
Those that were seen out of favor with Hitler were basically the ones targeted for mass extermination. And so now, and so have you seen this repeat itself? This world is basically becoming another prison planet, another Nazi Germany.
Yep.
And thus everybody, wakes up to the fact that at least starts coming together to heal and reconcile our differences and be willing to come together to bring down this government and basically all the other governments across the world engaging in this.
Yep.
That we are going to be blaming.
I tell you.
We have no choice. The only thing we have is resistance. And a lot of people decided that because that involves the possibility of death, which is perfectly understandable.
I got you.
But for the salvation of the human race, period, we have to stand up to this.
We do. We have to stand up.
That means some of us have to be ready to take a gun and take some guns in our hands and be ready to storm the go and storm the fuck out of Congress, kill Congress people, blow up the fucking White House, blow up the Supreme Court, just love all these fucking governments. Because and for those that think that I'm crazy for advocating this, you can read some of the writings, some of the founding fathers, like George Washington, who called for revolt for 20 years, said that it was natural manure for the tree of liberty to be washed with the blood of patriots and tyrants. You also have people like Benjamin Franklin, who also called for revolts.
All right, man.
And he had Martin Luther King.
You trying to get my
violent revolts on the language rights or the language of the unheard.
All right, Montague. You trying to get my show taken off the air, man.
Well, I mean, no, let me. Every time I should have taken off there because they take the show off the air. That proves the point.
No, that won't prove the point.
That it does prove the point because what that shows is that the ideas that are being espoused are actually starting to resonate with the people and wake people up. And of course, they can't have people becoming aware. Silly of what the hell is going on. They have people locked in a state of idiocracy.
Yep.
So they can accomplish their goals and their agenda and be able to do so with the full permission of the people.
That's right.
And I say permission because we'll be too stupid to stand up and defend ourselves.
Absolutely.
Those people.
All right.
I would love for you guys to be able to live for revolution, not die in revolution. But the problem with that is that you don't really have a choice at this point.
Can't hear you. Okay, Montague, man. You keep breaking up, Montague, man. I'm going to have to let you go, bro. All right?
Oh, okay.
But you're going in and out, man, but I love the majority of what you're saying. Just that one little part. But look, dog, give it up for my man Montague, y'all. Give it up for him. Hey. Damn it. Montague, man, I hate when I can't hear you well. I hate when I can't hear you well because you're always dropping a different perspective. And I love having different perspectives on the show. Definitely love having that, man. Damn. He brought up some points. I read something in my chat room that bothered me. And I wrote it down. Oh, there are some people believe that everything is a conspiracy. They think all of it is media manipulation. Everything's media manipulation. Everything. Nothing's real. Had somebody in my chat room on my YouTube channel. If you go to TimBlackTV.com, you'll see the streaming video version of this. And you'll see that they're chatting. And one of the persons said that the government is hyping up cop killings for a reason. hyping up cop killings. No, they're not hyping them up. They're reporting them because they give them a lot of traffic, right? But they are actually happening. So it's not really a hype. I mean, they're talking about them. They talk about other killings too. We do the same thing with terrorism. We do the same thing with Nicki Minaj drop a new album. I mean, that's what America does. That's our number one export, entertainment. And this is a form of entertainment for the masses. So, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's actually happening. Nicki Minaj did drop an album. It's not a fake album. It's a real album. Other people who talk about it, they benefit from talking about it, but it is happening. Tamir Rice was shot and killed for no real reason other than he's 12 and he was playing with a gun. And if he can be shot for playing with a gun outside, you can be shot for playing with a gun outside. Your kids can be shot for playing with a gun outside. You understand? So that's the problem. That's not hype. That's reality. The reason why it feels like hype is because you think it can't happen to you. You think that a cop can't corner your car and shoot 20 bullets in it or 30 bullets in it. Like my friend, Gina Best, whose daughter was shot up because her baby daddy, husband, boyfriend, whatever, father of a child, they were tracking him in the passenger seat. And they shot 30 bullets in the car. 30. In a car he wasn't even driving. In a car that had another woman in it and a baby in the back seat. And I have people that say, well, it was all his fault. They hold no responsibility to the police officers who shot 30 times, who didn't wait for him to get out the car, considering they knew it wasn't his car and he wasn't driving the car. Right? I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, hell, if I'm driving somebody somewhere and you want them, don't shoot my shit up. Wait till they get out. Pull over and let me get out with my child. But that's a foreign concept to people whose main intention is to hold up the system. Because without the system, they have no identity. You understand? They have no identity without the system. They are so attached to the system and to this BS that without it, they no longer exist. Their identities, their self-worth is wrapped into a nationalistic mind frame, a construct built on propaganda. It never existed. There is no Santa Claus. And we're arguing about what color this imaginary person is. People arguing over, I don't know, this guy won't return my phone call. And put out 6 videos about him raising money for a school. How many videos you put out about Tamir Rice? How can you put out more videos about a guy's fundraising accounting than you put out about this 12-year-old kid? And then when I call it out, half of these people don't even see a problem with it. They're going, what's the problem? I mean, we really need to shapeshift our brains here. There is a conflict of interest. Some of us want the truth. Some of us want our country to be right. Some of us want the country to get right. And some of us don't. They just want to watch, Real Housewives of Atlanta, go watch the Star Wars movie, and then eat a bunch of McDonald's until they fall asleep. That's what they want to do, and I understand it. But the Matrix was a real thing, if you think about it. It was. You really think about it. Hey, you live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Hey, Tim, it's Rob. I made it.
Hey, Rob. What's up, my friend?
Hey, what you preached on there. The uninformed out there that go to the movies and want to throw a blind eye into what really goes on, they scare me because they get the vote. Those are the ones that scare me.
Yes, they do.
But I was able to catch about 90% of the show between driving and working and all that stuff. And, this whole case, it got pointed out that he got thrown to that scene without all the information. At least could they not prosecute the dispatch for saying the original call came in where they believe it was a kid with a toy gun? Is it my understanding, now correct me if I'm wrong, if he went to that scene not knowing those part of the facts?
Yeah, I'm assuming that information never was transferred. I don't think it was.
Now, I don't agree with the outcome. Like I said, two seconds does not give him visual justice to identify that it was a toy or not, or give him reason to think his life was threatened. I'm just saying that shouldn't somebody take a little bit of the punishment?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, Rob, this family's going to get awarded some type of civil judgment, and that'll be the end of it. But you're right. I feel like criminally, Dispatch had a responsibility, a duty to relay that information, man. I do.
I agree. I mean, if some of that nature, when somebody says I understand the caller. The caller's not in the wrong for being concerned. That's their right to think that somebody's out there possibly with a gun playing around in a park. Okay. They're uninformed. Maybe they're looking through a window 50,000 feet away. I don't know. But, they have a right to call up and say, hey, I think there's kids out there with a gun, but it's probably a toy gun, but somebody might want to check it out because you never know this day and age. All right. Let that information get to the proper people and don't send out the rookie that it's,
right.
Has got a hot hand on the finger or the trigger. And like I told you, I said, the person that pulls the trigger is ultimately responsible. When you take a life with a gun, the person pulling the trigger, whether it be me, whether it be you, they're going to say it was your responsibility.
I believe they should. Right.
But and I caught the tail end of the other guy, the Sarge, was it? The blow up?
Yeah.
I got to rewind that here in a little bit. But I just wanted to say, for people like him that listen to the show, you haven't listened to Tim long enough. He will give you a forum, and you can agree to disagree, but you cannot come into his house and shit all over his walls and expect to get treated nicely.
Exactly.
We can agree to disagree, and if we can't do that, we're always going to have a problem. Sarge, if you're out there listening, you could have calmly discussed your point tit for tat and listened to Tim and agree to disagree and calmly move on. But if we can't have honest discussion without people screaming their points of interest, we're just lost.
Right. Hey, man.
But, no, it's a good show. Put it up for the Patreons and people that pay, because I want to hear this shit later. I want to hear the whole blow up and soak it all in. And I agree with about 99% of the callers, especially the caller that called in and said the prosecutors are kind of in bed with the police for protection and all that stuff. I agree with that.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me too, Tim. I'm going to let you go because I know you're getting close to blog talk time there.
Yeah.
And we'll holler at you later.
All right, Captain. Hey, y'all, give it up for my man Rob, guys. Thank you, Rob. You know what's up. I'm going to try to get everybody in before the show's over, man. I only have a 2-hour window for the show for the phone. And I got a couple people waiting on hold, so let me try to get through, okay? Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Robert White.
Robert White. This isn't Sarge, is it?
No. I actually watch you all the time on YouTube.
Okay.
And, I was sitting here and I saw you were live. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to call in and tell you, first of all, what I think about what just happened.
Okay.
This is my take on this. I think that this whole thing is set up and a stage by the government. It's a planned situation while we're focusing in on what the police is doing across the country. I believe that something really, really bad is about to happen to this country. Like perhaps maybe the banks are going to close, and we're going to lose our money or something like that. Something really bad in this government is about to happen. I don't quite know what it is, but I think the police shooting is a terrible thing that's happening in the country. But it seems like it's just almost set up. It's like they're doing this on purpose. They want to get the revenge of black people coming out against the police and making a war. I think that's what they want because it's been back to back. Chicago. I mean, so many cities and places. Sarah Blunt. It just goes on and on and on, and it won't stop. So what I think is happening is I think this whole thing is like from people who's in high positions setting this up. You know, they're using the situation. I'm not saying maybe they're setting up the police shooting people, but I believe that they're using that situation
90 seconds
for them to bring this anger up with black people across the United States of America. While we're busy focusing in on that, I really think something bad is about to happen to this country. That's my take on it.
All right, Rob. I only got like 30 seconds left, man. Thank you for your call. I will respond after the show. Thanks for the call, man. Let me try to go to the last person. Hey, you're my last caller tonight. Who's this?
60 seconds.
This is Denise.
What's your comment, Denise?
I just wanted to say in a nutshell, I know you're kind of pressed for time, but, you know, the officer that shot Tamir Rice, you know, he was already found, you know, incompetent by another police force.
Right.
So he shouldn't even have been there.
Right.
You know, they're starting to pass cops around like the Catholic Church used to pass priests around. And it's just exacerbating the problem. And with them rolling up on him the way that they did, you know, if somebody comes out of a bank and you know they got a gun, they set up perimeters. They don't roll right up next to them and jump out and shoot because, you know, they put themselves in more harm's way. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you've seen this on New York Daily News where this 60-some-year-old white female was running around with a BB gun, looked like his, did the same thing. She got a buckshot. She didn't get a toe tag.
Right.
And that's the main problem here. It's not, the thing that they're not understanding is that white people can do things and black people can do something equivalent or less, and we get killed for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So, I mean, that is the main problem, because I see a lot of, our white brothers and sisters are like asking, why are black people so upset? It's because this has always been happening, and now we can see it. We can see it in video. It's out in the open, and they're still making excuses for it.
Right. Right.
And that's pretty. I know you got to go. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, lady. Well, look, thank you so much, Denise, for the call. Catch me tomorrow at 9 o'clock, okay?
All righty.
All right now.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye, lady. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the phone lines are gone at this point. It tells me I have no more time left on the streaming for the phones. But I want to take an opportunity to respond to especially my guy who just called, Rob White. Rob White, he brought up an interesting topic. His assertion was that he thinks this is all a setup to rile black people up. And there's something really bad that's going to happen to the United States. And it's all a distraction just to get black people pissed. So to Rob, I have to say this, Rob. What you don't understand, Rob, is this is not new. What's new is that you know about it. I grew up listening to these stories my whole life. My whole life. I'm 41. This is not new. You think it's new. It's like you walk into a situation. You ever take public transportation? One of my favorite comedians, his name is Rod Stapleton. He had this one joke about taking the bus in the summer. I think it was New York City. That's where he's from. And he get on the bus and it's like, wow, because his car was broke. So he's not used to catching the bus. And he's looking around. He's like, God, this is what y'all usually do here. Man, can't believe y'all do this. And someone's like, hey, do you know the stop I get for such and such? And he's like, I don't usually do this. I'm only here because my car is down. Whew. That's how I feel about you, Rob. And not just you, Rob. All those people that think this is new. No, this bus has been crowded. No, the AC has never worked, Rob. And yes, a lot of people on the bus are funky. They don't wear deodorant. This is not new. In fact, this may be the best version. This is actually a newer bus than the one they had last year. More people wear deodorant than they used to. And it's about 10 degrees cooler than usual. It just looks bad to you because now you are on the bus with everyone else and you are seeing what's going on. Get it? So when people bring up police brutality, Rob White and the rest of America, and London and New Zealand, wherever you call them from, wherever you are, just know that just because now they're videotaping it does not mean just now it just started happening. Once again, I was raised hearing stories like this my whole life. My parents grew up with it. They grew up seeing it. They grew up experiencing it. I experienced police brutality. Me. There was no distraction. When they took my friend and handcuffed him behind Prince George's Plaza and beat the shit out of him, right? When I saw him afterwards, it was not a distraction. There was no plan to dethrone some king in Saudi Arabia or some shit. It was really a thing. They just beat him up because they could and they felt like it and they were pissed off at the time. It was not a plot. Stop watching Alex Jones. Just stop it. If you watch Alex Jones for anything other than entertainment, your brain will be totally, well, it will be screwed with. Because that's got to be where this is coming from. Alex Jones, Red Silver, any of these guys who try to tell you nothing ever happens and it's all a distraction, it's all a game, and something really bad is happening. But they don't tell you what's going to happen. Just tell you something bad's going to happen. That means no matter what happens, they were right, right? It's like a fortune teller. You come in and they say, oh, you're going to have a long life. Whenever you die, they were right. Because what does long mean? Of course something bad is going to happen in America. I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, bad things happen in America all the time. Just depending on where you live at, bro. We do not live in a post-racial era. You think all the Klan people, you know, when you see those videos, when you see those pictures of people being at lynchings in the 20s and 30s with people burnt and little kids smiling and people like this, where do you think those people went? Some of them went to law enforcement. That's not a distraction, Rob. That's not a distraction, Meerkat. There are bad people who do bad things. All right. And those people have kids who they influence, who they pass on their ideology to. It's really not rocket science. But I do like what we did get to the bottom of, the conflict of interest between police and prosecutors. I said that before. I'm glad he brought it up. It always exists, but nowhere is it more prevalent than this case right here. Because I got to tell you guys, I don't think I've seen the prosecutor go this hard blatantly. I mean, I've seen prosecutors do suspect stuff like charged with the highest count of murder available. First degree murder when you know he should have went manslaughter. Why is it going first degree? You can't prove intent. They go back. That's the little trick they do, the prosecutors. They overcharge knowing they can't get it. Then they go, well, gosh, I really tried. See you next week, Bob, at the picnic. That's what happens. It's like those people who say, it's sort of like Raven Simone when she says, this is how I see it. For all those people who believe that America doesn't have these problems, that it's really not an entrenched problem, that this is all window dressing. You remind me of Raven Simone. You know, it's so Raven when she says stuff like, I'm not black, I'm clear, or whatever she calls herself. You know, because here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you think you are. It matters what people in power think you are. It's how they see you. See, I could say I'm a teacup, a little teacup short and stout. You'd be like, what's this big black man calling himself a teacup for? That's the way I see you guys when you say, this is all make-believe. This is all made up. This is all distraction. This is all hype. This is all this. This is all that. And I'm looking at it myself going, no, this happens. What's happening, what's different now, guys, is that now we have cell phones. Now we have smartphones. Now we get access to CCTV. Now we have the Freedom of Information Act. You know, now we have access. Now we got the internet. Now you can watch a show like this. Right? Because you're not going to get, like, just this show alone would not have existed 20 years ago unless you had some strange AM radio station on your dial. Because you didn't have the internet and you weren't going to get it on network TV, were you? So just the fact you have the access to a show that will critically and unapologetically condemn this shooting. That I don't know how many people are watching this thing. I got over 200 people on Meerkat right now who have come through and watched portions of it. I don't know how many people on YouTube have come through, left, because it's a long show. I got people that are going to download it on iTunes. People are going to download it on Stitcher. People are going to listen on Blog Talk Radio. I mean, just 20 years ago, this show couldn't exist. You would have never known about it. But do you think all of a sudden any person who wanted to abuse their power just started doing it last week? I mean, do you really think that? You can't be that naive. You can't be so naive to believe that people didn't abuse power until all of a sudden when people got iPhones. Then everybody started, oh, this iPhone make me want to go rape a chick. This iPhone make me want to go spit in some food. This iPhone will make me want to, I don't know, piss in a coffee can and serve it to people. This iPhone makes me want to, I don't know, shoot a guy 16 times and write down I shot him once on my report. You really believe that the dash cam made him do it? Well, if you don't believe that, if you believe this technology has nothing to do with it, then you must also believe that this has been going on for quite a long time. And now we're just getting exposed to it. That is all. In fact, I believe there is less of it now than there was 50 years ago. I know for a fact there's less of it now than it was 70 years ago. I know that for a fact. Because I had some family that lived down south who left, and I know why they left. I don't think my great-grandpa was lying when he told my grandfather the stories of what he dealt with when he lived in North Carolina, in South Carolina. He ain't got no reason to lie. He didn't have a reason to lie. You feel me? And don't get it twisted up north. There are problems up north that people don't talk about. They want to blame the South for everything. Let me tell you guys something, man. Up north, there's been a lot of hell to pay, too. There's been a lot of corruption and a lot of shit going on up north. I'm tired of everybody putting it on the South. Stop it. There's sundown states in the North, too, where you shouldn't be there when the sun go down. Come on, man. Come on. What a show. Tamir Rice. They're going to pay that family. They're going to pay that family millions of dollars. It's going to be in the tune. I'm going to go ahead and guess $5.5 million is what they're going to settle on. It's going to be a high number like that. It's going to be. Because they're going to easily pull up other issues, where kids got shot or didn't get shot. And they're going to look at the numbers and go, well, we do happen to shoot more black kids. Like 3 times as many black people get shot with guns in Ohio for some reason then white guys get shot, and it's going to be hard to say, well, why did you shoot him? Why were you afraid of him? You weren't afraid of this other guy. Why are you shooting him? Well, what's the deal? And it's going to be easy to make that case. They're going to win the case. They're going to win the case. They're going to win the case. You got to give a person more time to comply. All right? So regards to if you think the gun look real or not, it don't matter, because you can have guns in Ohio. I keep saying that point. I want people to know it. If you just tuned in, Ohio, you can carry guns. You can carry a gun right now in Ohio. Walk down the street. You can. For some reason, and this is what people need to wrap their head around, right? Why is it a guy like Robert Deere, right? Robert Deere, the guy who ran into the Planned Parenthood clinic and killed an officer and killed 2 other people, wounded countless others, held hostages, right? How can that guy be taken in alive? And Tamir Rice, who didn't shoot anyone with a pellet gun, okay, you thought it was a real gun. He didn't shoot anyone. Why we got such a problem bringing in certain people and other people get brought in just fine? And why is it when I look at the numbers, it's a big disparity? Well, don't tell me. Remember this one guy that time they shot it? Yeah, I know. I'm talking about disparity. Like the numbers don't match. The numbers don't match. Don't tell me Robert Deere wasn't dangerous. He proved he was dangerous. He proved it. He killed a cop and 2 other people. He proved he was more dangerous. But for whatever reason, that calm officer, and this is the point, guys. If the officers would have shot Robert Deere, the guy who shot up at the Planned Parenthood clinic, if they would have shot him, no one would have been upset. We would have all been like, cool, I get it. He just shot a cop and shot 2 other people. But the officer was calm, used restraint, didn't feel a need to bust a hole in him, probably wanted to shoot him. I mean, he just killed a cop. He just held hostages. He just killed 2 other people. I mean, I'm pretty sure whoever the officer was that took Robert Deere in wanted to shoot him. Why didn't he? Why did he value Robert Deere's life so much? He just showed and proved he had no value for other people's lives. He had just taken 3 lives. But why did that officer not feel compelled to bust a hole in him? Now, we're either going to say we need to do what Tim Black says and get better cops. Fire the crap cops. Fire the shit cops. Hire better cops. Pay them more money. Pay them more money. Come on, cops. Under the Tim Black plan, you get $100 grand. You get paid as much as a fucking banker. Wouldn't that be right? Don't that make more sense? I also think teachers should be paid $100 grand too. But we talk about cops right now. And don't forget my firemen. But get rid of the crap. Get rid of them. And then pay bonuses to cops who don't bust caps in people for no reason. Yeah. Instead of giving people 30 days suspension with pay like we do now, we fire their asses. And we promote and pay people who do a better job. Radical idea, right? Am I still a cop hater because I want bad cops gone? No. Promote the good cops, get rid of the bad cops. Pay the good cops twice as much. Is your problem really about me not liking cops or the color of the cops I don't like? I mean, it's just a question. And to my friend, Sarge, who called up and cussed me out on my own show. Listen here, jackass. I know why you got upset. You wanted to talk over me. It's because you knew I was going to defeat your argument very easily. Either that or you have ran out your pills. Or your hood was wrinkled and you are pissed because you just spilled your Kentucky bourbon on your Klansman hood. And it's hard to get that bourbon to come out. Or your episode of Ghetto Gaggers has just expired. Or whatever, okay? But I got a strong inclination that the real problem with you, reason why you got so butthurt, was that you knew I was going to pick apart your little argument. So you are welcome to call back, sir. In fact, I would love for you to call back. Please call back. Please call back tomorrow and explain to me why you, the gun owner that you are, got to think a person with a gun should be shot just because he got a gun. I would think a gun owner would say, hey, if you got a gun, they should be doing something illegal with it before they get shot. Because you carry guns too. All right. I tell y'all, man. What a night, what a night, what a night, what a night. The hypocrisy is so thick. It's like one of them Wendy's milkshakes. You know? Wendy's with the Frosties. Does that give you that dent in your forehead? You need a spoon, not a straw. That's how thick the hypocrisy is of some of you white supremacists who call my damn show. My name Tim Black. You see who I am. Don't call me with bullshit. I'm not Wayne Dupree's punk ass tap dancing for people to call his show. Hey, you right, boss, you right. I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's his fault. Doing it at the park. Playing with guns. Knowing his fat ass grew up in parks playing with guns his whole damn life. Doing stuff to get a reaction out of people. Kids do stupid shit. We shouldn't die for it. Not even in 2015 should kids, you know what? We are getting way too PC friendly, first of all. We really are. That's a whole nother show. But we really are. Gotta go up to the schools if my son did like this. Pew. I gotta go up to school and have a damn conference over this. This. Because a 6-year-old did this. It's scary. It's scary. All right, guys. I will be here tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'll be back unless they come get me because of Montague and his rhetoric. Bad Montague. I mean, we got to be careful with what we say, man. I mean, when we get into inciting a riot, you go right up to that line and just be like, and then we got to use code words or something. You should not blow up stuff. I know that's what America was founded on. I know that's what we did here in America, but for some strange reason, they don't want no one blowing up their shit. I know that's how that's how America was founded. And I know we love blowing up other people's shit. We're doing it right now as we speak. I can hear it in the distance. But no, they got a problem with us even consider, don't talk about that. I mean, that's the hypocrisy of our democracy, if that's what you want to call it. All right, guys, once again, I'll be here 9 o'clock. Let's play some Get Out of Here music. Let me do a couple shout-outs first, though. Joseph Labonte, it was legal to own a gun in the state. Just saying. Yes, it was legal to own a gun in the state, Joseph. I said that 5 times. I don't know why these people still keep bringing up what kind of gun it was. And they didn't have an orange tip. Who cares? The cop said he looked 20, so that's old enough to have a license to carry a gun in it. So why do people why are y'all worried about an issue that don't matter? It's a non-issue in a state where you can have guns. Actually, him having a gun is not, like, there was no reason to even call it in, really, because it is a state people can have guns. Now, if you say he's pointed at people and scaring them, that's the problem. That's a problem. But they must get that often. I don't know why the erratic nature, why the pull up beside and jump out, all that makes no sense. You fall back. You assess the situation. Human being. Also carry guns with a permit. You're right, human being. That's what they're allowed to do. Brooklyn. What's up, Brooklyn? Meerkat was hyped. What up, Meerkat? Charlie Brown says the cop was free from his consequences of his actions. Yep. Only the weak are responsible for their actions. Just the weak. Whatever the weak is. They must get that offer. No, it don't make it okay. It's they understand how to handle it. Listen here, Viet, whatever the hell that is. Listen, if I'm used to dealing with gun-related issues in a state where people carry guns, that would make me a little bit better at handling it. Not losing my shit and shooting someone for something that is not out of the norm. See, if you're going to call in D.C., where I'm from, for carrying a gun, everybody be up in arms because guns are 5 years just having one. You understand? That's a 5-year deal. There is no explanation for you to be waving a gun in D.C. unless the laws have changed. Get it? Damn it, man. Listen. You see this ear? Your ears are for more than just holding up glasses. You have to use them shits to listen. God bless you. God bless you. All right. You're not listening. If you're listening, you would have heard what I said. I said it 18 times. It's a state where you can carry a gun. It's a state. It's like saying, this guy's driving a car. And you'd be like, so people can drive cars. It's in a state where people drive cars. Owning a gun in Ohio is as common as driving a fucking car. It's owning a car. Or it's legal as owning a car. Now does that make sense? So someone having a car should not frighten you or freak you out. You should not run up on the person with the car like, what you doing with that car? Come with that car. Get it? Because you've seen cars before. You pull people over in cars all day. It's not new shit. Stop fucking trolling. Or either, maybe you're not trolling. Maybe you really don't understand. Maybe you're 12. I'm about to start carding people when they come to my shows. But that's not just for Run Delvin or whatever his name is. It's for anyone who don't understand that. I thought that was crystal clear, man. You typed that shit 3 times. So I had to run it, take it there, Run Delvin. See, he don't even know who he's at. He's just trolling. Good for you, Run Delvin. My people love to see me get hyped from time to time. His name is Run Delvin. He said, I have a low IQ. I won't say his name again. He just won because I mentioned him. Because see, for people, some people want attention. They don't care what kind of attention. Some people are constructive people. They like attention on a positive note. And then there are other people who have never had, and I'm assuming it's a guy, who've never got laid in their entire life, whose mother didn't sleep with a man to create them. She slept with, I don't know, stray cat, Allie, right? But he was a smooth meower. She was pregnant. She lived outdoors. Rats took care of her, nursed her. A possum served as her midwife, and he was born. So you can expect him to have problems. He grew up abused. You know, one of those people. Lived outside under crates, kicked all his life. You know, what do you expect? You know, I'm being hard on him. I shouldn't have been so hard on him. I understand when you lack hygienic. You're like, you lack hygiene, good hygiene. You have no teeth. Your mother is a one-legged, one-armed stripper with bad hygiene herself, with a bad case of the gout. And so I should really take it easy on you. Because for all those reasons, you know, I don't know who's tipping her. People tip her with dental floss and soap. Guys, Kim Santana, The Adventures of Cinnamon and Mayonnaise. The Adventures of Cinnamon and Mayonnaise. Anyway, guys, I got some great people in the chat room. Look, tomorrow, come to timblacktv.com and you will see the show streaming live. You get the video version if you are listening now. My people on Meerkat, man, I heard Meerkat is popping, is crazy on Meerkat land. People are fired up. I knew they would be because when you post on Meerkat, it streams to people on Twitter. And yeah, the Tamir Rice thing is kind of trending now, so I thought it'd be a lot of people would come through for the first time. And I didn't know it was going to be a volatile situation like this, but Charlie Brown says the cops shoot first. And Charlie Brown is right. Give that man a prize. Cops shoot first. And I understand what people are saying. I do. I wonder if you'd say it if it was your 12-year-old. That's all. You'd be saying the same thing the parents are saying, Tamir Rice's parents are saying. Why didn't you give my baby a chance? Why did you shoot him in 2 seconds? Why didn't you give him a chance? You'd be saying the same thing. And some of you wouldn't be saying it. Because like I say, Ohio is a state where you can carry guns, so some people might not be saying it. They may have been expressing themselves. I'm just saying, some of you good old boys, some of the guys, I know some guys from down south and in the Midwest, white guys, you're not being totally honest, because I know how you are. Some of you guys, somebody kill your boy and don't give him due process, you would be thinking like Carlos was thinking. But you got that mentality, you think that black people don't hurt, that black people don't have pain, that black people somehow don't have attachments, that they don't love deeply like your people do. I mean, it's some people here with some really screwed up logic. You know, and we need to get past that. We need to get better. We need to grow. We need to grow. This was wrong. It don't matter the color. It don't matter where the people are from. You need to assess the situation. It's going to take longer to assess the situation than being 5 feet away, right? And being there 2 seconds. You're supposed to do a better job than that. I'm sorry. And to me, it's criminal when you do that bad a job. Now, if you just get my pancakes wrong, I ask you for a full stack of pancakes and you bring me back a half a stack, I'm okay with that. I'm pissed, but I'm okay with that. Right? If I tell you give me bacon and you gave me that turkey bacon bullshit, I got a problem with that. But this, you know, some things some jobs you can screw up. But you can't pull up on a 12-year-old 5 feet from him and give him 2 seconds to comply with the order before you gun him down. And then you don't even try to administer any type of life-saving techniques. I'm sorry. Sorry ain't good enough. And I'm not sorry. It's not good enough. It's not. And you get mad about it won't make it good enough. And you saying, well, all cops saying bad ain't good enough. Damn, it's a long show. It's almost 2.5 hours. So what's up, Meerkat people? Shout out to MC, DJ White. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Carlos. Shout out to Kim. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to... I had some new people call in tonight. God, I had so many calls tonight. Tonight was a good night for calls. Miran. Thank you, Miran. Thank you, Montague. And even thank you, Weird Crazy Person. Thank you, Denise. Not crazy. Denise was not crazy. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Rob White. But no thank you, Sarge. But thank you, Sarge. Gave me ammunition for the whole night. So you are useful. I like white supremacists who are useful. You know what I mean? Always, it's all right. You know, when I could take you like you're like the, I don't know, the Swiss Army knife for radio talk host. You know? Give me a white supremacist any day, and that'll help me, fix the show and make the show better. And I don't know if you're a white supremacist, but you just, for a gun owner, I don't like the way you were talking. All right, guys, let's play the music and bounce. You may have noticed Kim said the Amethyst, a.k.a. Kim Santana, said the show was hot tonight. You may have noticed, Kim, I've changed my tenor of the show a little bit. Keep that third eye open, babe. All right. Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. TimBlack.com. Tim Black. Shout out to Laura. How you doing, Laura? Abram, Movia, Abromavia. MC White DJ served 14 years in prison for nothing. My brother-in-law served 14 years in prison for nothing. He was given life without parole, bad cop. Goodness gracious. Junior, what up, Junior? What up, Chorizo? I see some familiar faces here. Rude Dog 22, what's up, man? Dryer Buzz. Dryer Buzz, what's up, Dryer Buzz? Good people, good people, good people. I don't know if you're still around. We've been having problems with the way our Meerkat reception's been. So I've been kind of, I don't know. Hopefully you guys had a good stream today. This dude's a little crazy. Yes, he was. Junior's been keeping it popping over here. I don't know if I agree with him. I don't know. I can't read his comments, but I appreciate Junior's comments and Laura's comments and Mirad's comments. Oh man, what a show on Meerkat, man. Damn, I understand what Rob was saying now. Or was it Brooklyn? He said that Meerkat was popping tonight. I don't know. I think Meerkat had it popping more than YouTube. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'm spent, but it's a good kind of spent, Peace. All right, guys. Derek Garrett Jr. What's up, Derek Garrett Jr.? How you doing, my man? Everybody who wants to see the show, who have maybe missed pieces of the show, thank you, Brooklyn. I will be putting this show in its entirety on my other channel, DC News with Tim Black. DC Trending News with Tim Black. If you go to my channel, right, you go to my main channel, which is IamTimBlack.com, or the channel that you're on, Tim's Take Live. Go to related channels or recommended channels or whatever. You'll see my other channel, DC News with Tim Black. Go there, you'll see the full show of this so that you can, all right, do that. Because, yeah, I want to make sure you get a copy of this. Okay, guys. Thank you for supporting this show. I'm out. This was crazy.